All right, welcome back to the show. Tennessee Senator, Mr. Bill Hagerty. Senator Hagerty, welcome, sir. So I did not understand. Democrats, a lot of kooky stuff, but they're attacking Trump because he's so out of compliance with the War Powers Act. He is in compliance with the War Powers Act. Not that that's important to me, or that presidents in both parties haven't been out of compliance, but Trump is in compliance with the War Powers Act. So I don't even understand that argument, Senator.
Well, the Democrats, again, Larry, are going to fail on this one as well. They just continue to flail, and I think, frankly, they're just trying to tie us up so we can't get anything accomplished for the American people. As you said, President Trump is in complete compliance. He's not declared war on Iran. What he's done is a very targeted move to remove their capability to produce missiles, ballistic missiles that are threatening us, the ability to launch those missiles, and certainly the ability to acquire more nuclear capability. Midnight Hammer took out their existing capabilities, but they're again moving back in the direction, again restarting their old program and actually building new facilities. President Trump is bringing all of that to an end. Very targeted, very focused, very direct.
Yeah, the Iranian negotiators were bragging to Witkoff and Jared Kushner about their nuclear capabilities, which was very unpromising. So we basically had to do what we had to do, it seems to me. Let me ask you another question, Senator. President Trump is talking about, again, the America Savings Act, photo ID, proof of citizenship, et cetera, et cetera. This is a huge issue and a popular issue. Will there be a vote in the Senate? How do you read that?
I certainly hope so, Larry, because the issue is very fundamental. Should illegals be voting in American elections? The answer is clear. The answer is no. This is one of those issues that 80% of the American public are supportive of. The only people that don't seem to support it are elected Democrats here that are not even listening to their own constituents. Again, what would they like to do? They'd like to basically let anybody vote in the elections. They want 16-year-olds to vote. They want felons to vote, and they certainly seem to be happy to allow illegals to vote because they don't want any form of voter ID. This is a very clear and sufficient means to come through and make certain that American citizens aren't disenfranchised, because every time an illegal alien votes in an American election, they are disenfranchising another American citizen's vote.
Well, Senator Thune was on the show last week. He said there would, in fact, be a vote on the floor of the Senate.
Yeah, I'm optimistic that that's going to happen. It's not scheduled yet, but I think the American public are ready for us to get this dealt with.
And last one, Senator Hagerty, appreciate your time. I know you're in a meeting. DHS, you know, defunding DHS. ICE has already been funded. How about FEMA? How about the Coast Guard? How about the TSA? If we're in the middle of a war, it seems to me we want to button down our Homeland Security. Where does all that stand?
Larry, what you say is such common sense. During the Biden administration, over 1,500 Iranians were apprehended at our southern border. The Biden administration allowed over half of them into the country. We don't even know where they are. So the risk of there being a sleeper cell certainly is greater than zero. Shouldn't we be funding our Homeland Security to protect Americans? At a time like this, you would think that the Democrats could set politics aside, lock arms with us, and stand strong as Americans. They don't seem willing to do that as yet.
You know, your colleague, Senator Blackburn, said last night, she said Democrats need to get over themselves. I just think that's said it all. They are so unconstructive, honestly, issue after issue. It's really poisoning our politics, sir.
It is. It seems that their only play, Larry, is to resist. No matter what it may be, no matter how good it is for America, we're just going to resist everything, maintain the status quo no matter how bad it is, and we cannot allow President Donald Trump to have a win.
Yeah, there you have it. Senator Hagerty, we appreciate your time. Very generous. All right, sir. Talk soon. All right, folks, coming up, why is the legacy media eulogizing the late Ayatollah? Oh, my God. We'll talk about it with Ace New York Post columnist Miranda Devine when Kudlow returns.